I'm a licensed pilot. You guys have been blowing up my comments and DMs asking about Moza's flight gear. Today, we're finally diving into it. This is the Moza AB6 Flight Base Bundle. Now this thing is the little brother to the much bigger AB9, but don't let that fool you. The bundle comes with this fighter style joystick, which feels pretty alright. It's got a tactile feel, the stick is solid, but the magic here is the force feedback. If you're flying prop planes, as soon as you're at idle, the whole base starts to vibrate based on the engine's RPM. It's a small detail, but it makes the cockpit feel alive. And the feedback on touchdown, the jolt when the wheels hit the ground, is a really cool addition. Is it realistic to feel that through a side stick? No, but for simulation, it adds so much soul to the landing. Even when you're pushing it too far and you hit a stall, the whole base shakes to tell you you're stalling. It's intuitive in a way that a spring-loaded stick just can't be. To give you some perspective on where this sits, the AB6, which is this one, uses a gear-driven system. It's pushing out about 6 Nm of peak torque. The AB9, it's direct drive, pushing 12 Nm of torque. The easiest way I can compare the two is the AB6 is like a Logitech G29, but much more refined, and the AB9 is like a Moza R9. Now I've heard some people say that the gear-driven bases can feel notchy. I personally don't see it. Maybe if you're looking for it, you can feel a bit of the gear vibration in certain positions, but it's so subtle it doesn't bother me at all. Also, what's important is that there's zero dead zone, and the precision is incredible. Plus, look at the base itself. You've got these built-in buttons and those 2 throttle levers right there. And the best part, you aren't locked into Moza's ecosystem. The connector is compatible with aftermarket brands, so if you want to swap the grip later, you totally can. Now let's jump into the sim and try it out. Alright, so now we're in the sim flying this Beechcraft. As you could see, the base is already shaking because of the engine's vibration. That's a pretty cool addition to have. Alright, so now let's take a look at the rudders and see if I go left, right. There's a nice stiffness to it which feels good. What's also pretty cool that you guys probably can't see, but I'll try to demonstrate it anyways, is that when you trim the aircraft, the whole joystick moves with the trim job. It mimics the feeling pretty well of what you'd see in the plane. So let's bring it back, and let's take off. When you put the flaps up or the gear up, you feel a vibration through the stick. It's not realistic to the real-life aircrafts, but it's a nice addition to have. It gives you a sense of immersion. Just like when you touch down, the jolt isn't something you would see at all in real life, but it's cool to have. So when you're airborne and you're gaining airspeed, the stick actually gets a little stiffer, which is pretty cool and actually realistic to what you'd see on certain aircrafts. As well, when you're doing steep turns, you feel the resistance as if there's actually weight to it. What's also cool is when you put the aircraft in a stall, the stick shakes like crazy to indicate that you've entered a stall. Now, doing stalls in the sim is something you're realistically not going to do very often, but having the stick shake like that is a nice addition, helps you prevent actually getting into the stall. Let's say you're coming in on an approach way too slow, the stick will start to shake aggressively. It's a really nice reminder. Some aircrafts actually have a stick shaker when the aircraft's in a stall, so it is actually something you could see in real life. It's not every aircraft that has it, but some do. Alright, so now let's land the aircraft. I'm gonna land it really fast and rough, that way I can show you guys the feedback you get on landing, which I think is pretty cool, but yeah, let me show you. You saw the stick shake. I'll hit it again hard. Let's see it again. There you go. You see it very apparently there. Either way, that kind of feedback through the stick on landing is not something you'd find on a real aircraft, but it does really add a ton of immersion for the sim, so I'm not complaining about it. The rudders don't actually have feedback to them. It's just a basic rudder pedal. There's nothing more to it. Would it have been nice to have feedback on that too? Sure, but honestly, it's not a deal breaker to me. The rest of the base makes up for that in so many different ways that I can't really complain. Anyways, let's try it out in a fighter jet. Now we're in the F-18 and you can see that the stick isn't shaking like the other aircraft. And also when I go side to side, the feedback does feel noticeably different. Either way, let's take it up right away and see how this aircraft flies. Oh, that's pretty good. So there's actually quite a lot of resistance when you're flying this aircraft at these speeds. The F-18 is super sensitive with this base, which is expected from a fighter jet, but as well, minor inputs moves the entire aircraft like crazy, and the base actually gets quite stiff at these speeds, which is pretty cool to see. Let's do a steep turn at this speed, and wow, it has a lot of resistance on it. But I do like how precise this is. Very small inputs actually affect how the aircraft flies. Let's try landing this aircraft. Alright, let's bring this in. That landing felt really good. Now let's try it in a different aircraft, like this Piper Seminole. Now we're in this PA-44, it's a Piper Seminole, so we'll try it out in a multi-engine and see how it feels now. Parking brake is released. I'm not following proper procedures, I'm just going to be flying the aircraft. Gear up. Wow. The weight in this is surprisingly heavy now. That's pretty cool. Man, the stiffness is really nice. Like, it's not too stiff, but it's not soft, so it's a pretty nice addition. There's no force feedback on the rudder, so you wouldn't feel anything on there. It just rotates easily, but side to side has a nice feedback to it. Let's get it into a stall. Just hold it a little longer. Yeah, that was pretty nice, the feeling of the stall. The shaker's a really nice addition. I know I said it before, but I thought I'd say it again, because it's pretty awesome, that feeling. I think it did pretty good, but now let's go back and see what else I have to say on this. Okay, so here's where things actually got insane. Most of you know Moza from the racing world. Well, they leaned into that. You can literally switch this from flight mode, from shifter mode in the software, and the base instantly transforms. It goes from a free moving joystick to a locked in, notched gearbox. It feels weird, but in the best way possible. I'm moving it around like it's a joystick 1 second, and the next, I've got these defined walls and gates. It feels like a proper manual transmission. You've got a full neutral position you can wiggle to check, and once you click it into gear, it stays there. It doesn't sway. It feels mechanical. Moza even sent over their specific manual shift knobs. You get the classic round one and a tall sequential style knob. What's even crazier is that the feel and the shake of the shift actually change depending on what car you're driving in the sim. It's a full-on sequential or H pattern setup. The base is essentially a do-it-all tool for your rig. Now let's again try it in the sim. So something I noticed is that you can't get out of gear, which is really nice. It's solid, but oftentimes I'll miss shift with this. Also, the neutral zone detent is pretty solid, so it's a little hard. What is cool is the shake. So when I rev it, it changes depending on the RPM, which is pretty accurate to real life. So let's put it into first. I have my shifter mounted onto the only table that I could find that was low enough. Unfortunately, this table is really shaky, so it's not the shifter's fault that it's swaying around. It's a weak table. So I misshifted here, which makes me have to look down on my shifter, and now I'm not paying attention to the road, and now I'm all over the place, as you can see, so. Alright, so now let's try this car with a pretty hard clutch. So there's a nice notchiness to it. So I find when you drive the car normally, you don't actually miss shift, but when you push the car and it's working a little harder, this force feedback, it tends to like to miss shift, so. See, like right there, I missed shift. So, just to have some credibility behind my driving here, in the real world, my daily driver is a manual car, so I am very familiar with how to drive a manual. So, yeah, it does seem to miss shift quite often, and obviously I'm showing those clips a little more often than what you would actually see in real life. But anyways, let's change games and try it out in Assetto Corsa. Now we're in Assetto Corsa, so let's try it out. I missed gear there again, and now I have to look down on my shifter, and as you can see, I crashed. So that can ruin your whole lap. Alright, let's try a different car out. When you're not misshifting, using this as a shifter feels insane. It's really, really nice. But either way, testing this as a manual shifter was still very impressive to me. Let's go back to the desk and see what else I had to say on this product. Alright, so here's my closing thoughts. This is hands down the best joystick I've ever used for home hardware. The feel is not quite the same as the professional training simulators I've been in, but for a home cockpit, it surpasses everything else that I've tried up to this point. It's just really cool. Now, I know a lot of you have been asking me to try out the Moza AB9, the direct drive one, and the AY210 force feedback yoke. After feeling what the little brother can do, I'm very curious to see how that 12mm base and the yoke feels in comparison. So Moza, if you're watching, you definitely have my attention. We'd love to get those on the channel and really put them through their paces for the community. I think people are really hungry to see if the high-end gear is as much of a leap as this AB6 was. But for now, if you want a base that handles your commercial flights and your weekend rally stages, this is it. Thanks for watching. Leave any questions in the comment section below and I'll try to answer as best as possible. Like and subscribe to help me be able to continue making this type of content. And I'll see you guys in another one.